And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Horticulture Master. This is a really, this box just looks gorgeous. In this game, you're trying to build a garden. Now, I'm not a gardener or someone who has a green thumb, but I am certainly impressed when I see somebody who does. When you go to the garden and you're just like, wow, this looks fantastic. I know it's a ton of work, and that's what this game is. It's like, hey, let's put some work into it and get together a beautiful garden. Game looks like top notch. My question is it fun? Each player is going to get their own player board in which they're going to be taking these tiles and placing them on their board, kind of like a Tetris type thing, trying to fill up their board, because at the end of the game you're going to get points for these different tiles. Players are going to each start with a magic mushroom in their hand, and on your turn you have two options. One of the things you can do is you can build one of these tiles. Now when you build a tile, you're going to need the cost underneath it. So this requires one of these cards here, you can see the symbol on it, and 3 water cards, and you also need to have a glove tool in your possession. If so, you'll take this and put it down in your area, any way you want, as long as it fits in there. The first person to take a tile off each pile gets the animal, which is worth 1 point at the end of the game. Once you build one of these, they're worth a certain amount of points. However, when you're building other tiles in the future, you can spend one of these tiles to get the resources on the back, which you can maybe apply to another one when building that one. And then this one's worth 8 points, which is much better. When you spend these are only worth 1 point at the end of the game. When you build one of these little 1 tiles, you kind of fill in the spots, and you're going to be drawing these randomly, and some of them are worth points. This one here is worth points. Now, how do you get the cards? Well, that's the other thing you do in your turn. Rather than build a tile, you can take cards. You can take 1 or 2 cards, if they're adjacent to each other, of the same element. You can also clear out 1 or 2 fires or 1 or 2 snows on the board. When you do that, you're just going to put those face down next to your board, and if you get 3 fires or 3 snows, you can use them as a wild element. If you want to take this one here, you have to spend a sunshine to get the purple flower. If there is a magic mushroom out there, you can spend pretty much any element to get this one, which turns into a wild one. Also fits in your hand at the end of the game. It's worth a victory point. You can take tools which give you special abilities, but you have to pay the resources for them. You can only have 1 tool at a time, unless you have the tool shed, which lets you have multiple tools. This tool lets you collect 2 things that are diagonally adjacent if they're the same. This lets you collect up to 3 things, and each one, this lets you collect 2. They don't even have to be next to each other. Each one of these gives you a special ability, and some of them you need to build some of the bigger tiles that are out there. When you're done with tiles, the tiles will fall down following the arrows, and then you'll reveal this card up here, which is the next one to come down. If fire ever comes down, it basically burns down the whole area until it gets to the bottom, and snow doesn't move, so this one comes, the tiles in between aren't refilled. You can, in your turn, get rid of a whole row, basically, and then you can take 1 card after the cards come down. So this one would come here and stop. There's 2 snows, so that's not so hot. So, ha ha ha. But anyhow, you're going to keep playing the game until one person completely fills in their spots, their whole board here, or until 3 piles of tiles are gone. At that point, you get points for the tiles on your board, the tiles that you've spent, any magic mushrooms in your hand, 1 point per animal, 3 points for the big giant cat, which you get if you completely fill your board. Whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. This game is super pretty. The cards are very good quality. The symbology is very easy to see. I really like how it looks. I especially like the tiles. Now these are all the same, right? But well, this one's a little bit different. Some of them have some differences between them. They just look good as you put them together. It makes you feel like there's definitely, you're putting together this really pretty garden as you put this together on your board. I just really love the way this game looks. The tiles themselves are decent quality. Even the mats here are nice. They have the vinyl finish on them. It's really easy. It tells you here's where you keep the fire and ice cards. Here's where you keep tools that you get. Very simple. The board looks good. The rules were not that hard to understand. You know, just a few pages of rules. The components for this game, top notch. First of all, love the theming of this game. It feels different, it feels unique. When you see this game on a shelf, it's certainly going to be one I'm interested to try out. The game looks great, the rules make sense, and the game plays smoothly. But the question is the game fun? Well, the idea of the game is fun, and it seems like it should work, but there's some severe problems. First of all, the game is very repetitious. You're drawing a card, 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 turn the cards in, get a tile, draw a card, draw a card, draw a card, draw a card, turn them in, get a tile. The game has some resources which are better than others. For example, sun is better than the other resources because you can use sun to get the purple ones, and you need the purple ones for like 3 or 4 of the building tiles. That's problematic because if a sun card comes up on your turn and you grab it, I don't have a chance to get it on mine. And it just seems like if you draw slightly better than everyone else, you'll do a little bit better. And then the fire comes and burns things, the ice blocks stuff off. Finally, someone's like, all right, I'll bite the bullet. I'll get rid of a row and take the card of my choice. Hopefully a sun card comes up. And it just feels like you're just drawing and drawing and drawing to get tiles. Now, that even still wouldn't probably bother me so much. It's just that all the tiles are very similar. It's not like my garden is going to look much different than yours. I have to go for the tiles I'm going for. Yes, I need a specific tool to build some of these buildings, so I need that tool to come out. You don't even need the tool. You can pay someone a card to use their tool. But what if no one's built that particular tool? And I want to build that particular building? Then I have to go through the deck and wait for that tool to show up. There's only like a couple throughout the game. But it just feels like this game, each game of this plays exactly the same as the last one. There's not a lot of maneuvering. The tools that let you do different things, that sounds cool. You can only have one, so you're slightly different than other people once I get a tool, but I had to waste cards to get it, and those cards that I spent on that tool, might they not have been better spent just building tiles on my board? Then when there's those single tiles, you get lucky, you get a point. In this game, a point is a huge deal. And it just felt like this game was very, very straightforward, which is fine, but each game of it felt the same. I get some cards, use them to get the same tiles as the last game. If there was a plethora of tiles, and you might say, well, I'm going to go for these tiles, I'll go for this one, but you're essentially going for the same tiles each time. There's only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different tiles, one of them being the single tiles, and you need different resources for those. So if you have these resources, it's kind of saying, this is the tile you're going to get. I want to go for this one. Yeah, but you don't have those resources. You can spend time trying to get those resources, but why not just buy this tile that's already there? Some of the tiles give special abilities, the tools. Again, this is a game that after explaining it to you, you may sit there and go, that sounds really interesting, but it just doesn't feel as good when you play it. It feels like it's too constrictive and repetitious and just does the same thing over and over and over again, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to like this one. It's a really pretty game and I had high hopes for it. Yeah. Oh well, at least I can still go in the garden. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Horticulture Master, I'm Tom Vasel. I'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment, pretty but unfulfilling.